Welcome back to another episode of Garden Path. Today we're bringing you the part 2 of Brookwood Farm, and we're here with Sarah Rostampour again. As you recall, we were here in March where there was about a foot of snow on the ground and they were planting a lot of onions. Well, today it's not much warmer. It's April 30th and it's cold. Their sale is in just a couple of weeks. Some of the onions are in the ground and we have other things that are being protected. So Sarah, welcome back. Thank you again for your time putting up with me. So tell us about, you've got this, looks like a runway going on here.
Yeah, so we have a lot of things planted and then they have these row covers over them. And they're special sheets that let through most of the light and water. And they have two purposes. One is to keep them a little bit warmer. It's like having a blanket on, the air underneath is a little warmer. But the second, which is more important, even when it's hot out, we keep a lot of them on, for pest protection, because we use organic practices. There's a lot of pests for which there's not really any good organic treatment, so the best thing you can do is just exclusion, just not letting them get in, and they're tiny.
So you need foghorn leghorn or no, Yosemite Sam. What's the biggest varmint that's in these hills?
Oh, well, actually there is a woodchuck that lives nearby.
Oh, they're gnarly.
So they could maybe tear through this, as well as deer, so people will maybe notice that there's a new fence up. Yeah, the bigger creatures are much trickier to outsmart, but there's a lot of little tiny creatures that will cause a ton of damage. Little tiny beetles, little tiny maggots that will just, they're small, but they'll tear it to shreds after a little while.
And that's the price you pay when you go organic, but it's much safer and much healthier. So what's in the ground today? What do you have in the ground?
Yeah, so underneath here, I'm gonna look to also refresh my own memory because we have over 10 beds planted here. But under here we have some of the kale that was seeded on that first seeding day.
That looks good.
Yeah, so you'll take a look at it in a minute. But so we have red Russian kale and a couple of other varieties of kale on this side. On this other side we have cabbage, we have collard greens, there's also broccoli. Basically our CSA starts in about a month, so we have to be ready now. But they're growing. Some of that kale is about this big now, and it was this big before, and it has a whole more 4 weeks to grow. There's also chard, beets, lettuce, chicories, which is related to lettuce, but it's kind of bitter, so you can kind of cook it to bring out the sweetness. We have scallions over here. And then in the far field over there, we have our garlic, which we planted last fall, and then we have a lot of the onions that we seeded on that Tuesday back at the beginning of March.
That's where it all began.
Yeah.
So basically the things that you have in the ground growing now can tolerate a certain degree of cold.
Yes, exactly.
So the home grower would not be planting, or they could potentially plant like the beets, the kale.
Yeah.
If they had would they need a cold frame?
Yeah, a cold frame or some sort of cover on any really cold nights can be really helpful if frost is predicted. Even getting down to like 37, below 40, then you'd think about how can I protect it. But if it's right next to your house too, that air is often warmer than it is out in the field like this. So sometimes you can get away with things that you otherwise wouldn't.
Well, this looks like snow. It looks like what it was when we were here in March.
Yeah.
So you've got this wide patch, and then I've noticed that beyond that you have other things being planted. Or it's been started. Now, how does that get into the ground? Is it manually one by one, or does a tractor do it?
We make the bed, we prep the beds with tractors, and then we do it by hand. We put it in, and we go as straight as possible so that we can manage the ground around to kill the weeds using tractors.
So you can't hire crooked people.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
How long would a row take to get into the ground?
In terms of for planting it?
Yeah.
It varies wildly depending on who is doing it. So my estimation of how long I think it should take and someone who's new, there's going to be very different. If the land is really soft and it's easy to do, I think a strip like this could take, 20 minutes or something. If you're going, have your coffee, go really fast.
So caffeine helps.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's been raining a lot, so I would think that would make the ground easy to dig around in.
Yeah, we do have, so it's in spring, you always have like your equipment's been sitting, so sometimes problems can come anew. So the soil's not been worked exactly how we want it to because we're waiting on some parts for that tractor over there. As you might imagine, all the shops are very busy right now because this is when everyone's trying to fix things on their tractors. So we have to improvise. So I had to use this tractor to make beds instead of that one, that older one. And the older one works great, but it's meant for a different job. So we were planting into very hard soil. So you're improvising and just making do, basically.
So where does one take a tractor to get a flat, to fix a flat? Or something, I don't know.
Yeah. I did have to do that yesterday. Well, so I mean, I do most of it. We do most of it ourselves.
Wow,
I do most of it.
that's amazing.
But there's some things where like you need to get a certain part or to put the tire on the wheel. Like I have to take the wheel off, bring it to a shop, a specialized shop, and they have to put it on for you.
I hope everybody appreciates what goes into getting your vegetables on the table when you're purchasing the Brookwood shares, because it's organic, you're getting a healthy product. Look at the, the work that goes into it. It's labors of love for sure.
Yeah, jack of all trades too.
Definitely. So when did the onions go back into the ground?
So we have some at the other site that aren't in the ground yet. We're going to put them on biodegradable black plastic mulch that will warm up the soil because it's black. So that's not planted yet. We'll plant it either this week or next week. And then the onions that are over there, we planted a couple weeks ago.
So they were in the greenhouse for how long before they went out?
Let's see.
We were here March 4th.
So? Yeah, at least 6 weeks, yeah.
So when all that space in the greenhouse freed up, what's next? What did you plant after that?
Tomatoes, eggplants, peppers, all the warm season crops, cucumbers, zucchini.
All the good things.
Yep.
You're making my mouth water.
Yeah.
So that's what we'll go see in a bit.
Yeah, ton of tomatoes and peppers in there.
So do you think you're prepared for the sale?
We're getting there.
So they're dealing with a lot of elements, even though it's not snowing out. It's still very cold out. It's only about 45, 50 degrees today, and a lot of rain, not a lot of sun, and a lot of these vegetables need better weather, just like us, to be happy. So, well, I would love to see what you have growing in the greenhouse.
Yeah,
so
let's
can we
do
go
that.
take a walk?
Yeah.
We're back in the greenhouse, and if you recall, the last time we were here, there were many, many, many trays filled with soil, and they were planting onions. Well, the onions have since been removed. They're, as Sarah mentioned, they're in the fields, and some are being prepped and just sort of waiting their turn. So it's pretty green behind me. What do you have growing? Because it smells terrific in here.
Yeah, so we see it through early August so that we can have continual successions going, so that we can keep providing food for our CSA even after the plant sale is done. But right here we have celeriac, which is the root of the celery plant, or it's been bred specifically for the roots. It's delicious for stews. That's something that people will buy from us in like November. Oh. So it's very slow. So that's over here. We have a lot of different flowers. Small. Yeah, celery looks very similar. It's the same plant. Over there we have popcorn and sweet corn for the plant sale. And then, yeah, there's probably 50 different things, honestly. But we'll see, as we go back there, we'll see tomato, basil, peppers, a lot of different herbs and flowers. So yeah, there's a lot of different things.
So the plant sales May 11th and 12th, but if somebody wanted to get a share, like buy into the share, that continues on.
Yep, that continues on because we have spring shares, which are really more early summer shares, and then fall shares. So you go online.
So you go on to Brookwood Community Farm?
Yeah, brookwoodcommunityfarm.org. Yep.
So brookwoodcommunityfarm.org if you're interested in getting a CSA share, because you get wonderful vegetables and they all started here. So these are clearly going to be in here for a little while.
Yes.
And some of the flowers, I'm seeing you've got like lupins and looks like hollyhocks and a lot of other things, and popcorn. Yep. But you can smell the soil, which is really nice on this cold day. So this space is pretty full.
Yes.
So what are you doing if you've got new things here? Will they stay here, or what? what happens next?
Yeah, anything that's at all cold hardy, I put it outside as soon as I can, hope that the weather's okay. Then we run out of space out there, so then we try to get into the ground. So it's just a constant shuffle. It's the greenhouse shuffle is typical in spring.
Sounds like a dance.
Yeah, it is a dance.
Well, very cool. And that's one of the reasons they have the cover outside, is to keep the tender new plants warm and also safe from the predators that are out there.
Yep.
Well, this is great. So will you be, are you still planting seeds?
We're planting through August.
Through August.
Yeah.
You need a bigger boat.
Well, the good thing is a lot of these things are going to be in the ground, so.
Well, hopefully it will warm up.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, definitely.
Well, I know you have to go run off to the other farm, but I thank you for your time in here.
Yeah.
And we'll kind of go look and see if we can make a salad.
Great, thank you.
Now, and the workers are planting artichokes. So what they do is they take a flat of artichokes like this, pull them out, and then place them on the ground and put them 2 feet apart, giving them room to grow. So without using a trowel or a shovel, they kind of take their hands, move the dirt around, pat it in, and move on. They're pretty quick, and that's the goal: get them in the ground, get them planted, and continue, because they have to get all of these so that they start to grow. Well, thank you for tuning in to this second episode on Brookwood Community Farm. The sale is May 11th and 12th at the Brookwood Community Farm by the Houghton's Pond. And if you missed the sale, be sure to check out their farm shares, or the CSA shares that you can find online, or stopping by and getting a form. So enjoy your vegetables and have a great spring.